How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today we're talking about side hustles. I'm going to go through 8 different side hustles, 5 of which I've done myself. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about why side hustles are so important and how they can help you retire a lot earlier than you would otherwise. So if you guys like this, if you like side hustles, if you like these videos, please leave a thumbs up. Also, if you want to support the channel in some other way, you can check out the link down below to WeBull, where you can deposit $100 and get 3 free stocks. That's also a great way of reaching financial independence and being able to retire early is just by investing, and getting some free stocks is a very nice way of starting that off. So definitely check out that link. So a lot of people in our community today don't really like their jobs. A lot of people are there only to get a paycheck. They really are just there to fund their lifestyle. I guarantee you that if you went up to someone and asked if they like their job, there's a 50% chance that they are actually going to say yes or no, or maybe they say yes, but I wish I didn't have to work as much. Some people just want to do other things, and I understand that. I recently quit my day job so that I could focus on YouTube. So I think there are a lot of different ways to get out of your day job and to be able to retire a lot earlier. And I say retire, but it's really about financial independence. Now, by that, I don't mean, moving out of your parents' place or anything like that. I mean the ability to live off your investments and to live off other means besides just a typical 9-to-5 job. So a rule that a lot of people use in the financial independence community, in the financial community, is the 25X rule, also known as the 4% rule. So if you spend $40,000 a year, they say that you can take that number and multiply it by 25. And if you have a portfolio of about $1 million in investable assets, you should be able to retire and take out 4% a year, so $40,000, and cover your living expenses. This is a generally agreed upon number, and some people say it's a little bit higher, some people say it's a little bit lower, but that is a good rule of thumb. Now, if you just think about someone that makes $45,000 a year, they need to actually save some money to actually be able to retire sometime down the line. So let's say they have about $45,000 in annual income. They save $5,000 a year, so they spend $40,000. Well, if they get an 8% annual rate of return, which isn't out of the question, that's pretty standard, and they save $5,000 a year, it will take them about 37 years to be able to hit $1 million. Now, if you're 23 years old, maybe you're planning on retiring at 60, that is a admirable number to hit. That's an admirable amount to save. I know some people aren't able to save that much early on. Some people aren't able to save that much later on when they have kids. So I think that you should definitely focus on increasing your income somehow. Let's take the same scenario, except for the fact that someone has about $5,000 more to invest because they have some kind of side hustle. So again, I'll cover some different side hustles in a moment, but if you have about $10,000 a year to invest, you will hit about $873,000 in 27 years. Now you might be asking, why are you just trying to hit $875,000 instead of $1 million? Because if we have $40,000 a year that we need to hit, then we need $1 million. The thing is, though, in this scenario, I'm assuming that after you retire, you're still using your side hustle and getting $5,000 a year. So really, instead of $40,000 from your investments, you only need $35,000 from your investments, because you'll have $5,000 made up by your side hustle. And that means if you need $35,000 a year, that means that you only need $875,000 in the end in your total portfolio. So not only do you need less upfront, but you're also able to invest about double as much. So this cuts your time by about 10 years between these two scenarios. So instead of retiring at 60, you could retire at 50. Doesn't that sound nice? So let's get on to some of the different ways that you can make money and some of the different types of side hustles you can use. But before we get into it, I think there are 2 important ways to think about side hustles that are really beneficial. First of all, you can go with scalable side hustles. So something that eventually can grow and you make more per hour. So starting off, you might only make, $5 an hour, $10 an hour, $2 an hour, something like that. But as time goes on, as you become more efficient or you take on more clients or you get more views, you can gain more and more per hour. You can increase your salary, increase your hourly rate. So That is one way to go. The other way to go is just something that pays so much per hour that it's hard to beat, right? So there are a couple side hustles in here that I made over $100 an hour, and they were actually pretty simple. I mean, this isn't scammy or anything like that. A lot of people know about them. Some people just don't want to deal with having to do them. So I think that you should either go with the ones that are very high paying hourly or the ones that are scalable. So I've done both of those in the past. They both have their pros and cons. The first three, though, are ones that I have not done, one of which I want to do. But the first one is something as simple as being an Uber driver. So an Uber driver or a Lyft driver can make anywhere between $8.50 and $11.50 per hour. I don't love this side hustle just because it's not scalable. There are a lot of things that people don't take into account, like maintenance and wear and tear on your car. But I think that overall, it's not the worst side hustle out there, especially because you can set your own hours. You can go at peak times that pay a little bit better per hour. So that is an option. It's pretty low barrier of entry and pretty easy. I know a lot of Uber drivers that I've talked to really like it. The other thing you can do is start a mowing business. You can make anywhere between $30 and $500 for each mow. So depending on the size of the land, depending on where you are, depending on the cost of living, you might actually have to charge a little bit less than this. But if you just pick up, let's say, 3 different mowing jobs for $30 to $35, that's about $100 a week. Do that with your 3 next door neighbors maybe. Maybe it takes you 3 hours on a Saturday morning or 4 hours, especially if you have some type of riding lawnmower or something that's a little bit quicker. Well, that will give you $100 a week, $5,000 a year to invest. The next way is one that I really like, and it's one that I want to do myself, but I've not been able to do yet because I don't own a multifamily home, and that's house hacking. So a lot of people in the financial space have done this before. A lot of people swear by this to gain financial independence. And what this is you buy a house that has an extra dwelling unit or maybe even just extra rooms, and you rent those out to other people. So the main thought process behind this is you're already buying the house. This is a way to get extra income, and you really don't have to do all that much. I mean, sure, you need to screen the tenant, but after you get them in for, let's say, a 1-year lease, a lot of the time you're not doing that much with them. So it's kind of upfront loaded, but after that, you're just collecting monthly income checks. So let's say you buy a $200,000 house, and you're able to charge the other half of the dwelling or the other unit about $800 a month. That would actually be about $10,000 throughout the year. You're also able to get some tax benefits. You're also able to pay off your loan with that amount too. There's a lot of different reasons that this works out well, and a lot of people like this. There is a higher barrier of entry though, so this is not one that I've done yet, but something that I'm definitely looking into. Now, here are the ones that I've done, and I have a good amount of experience with all of these. So first of all, I have a personal training business. So this is not my personal training business here. I am cautious about giving that out online. This was something that I did in college. My dad and I own the business, and we work with high school athletes, college athletes, middle school athletes in my area. So we started doing this with a local high school. We actually started doing it when I was in high school. We had a program set up. We went and took classes, and then we adapted to them to whatever we thought was best. I studied kinesiology in college. So you either have to know people or you have to know the business. And there is a barrier of entry because you need the people to trust you and believe in you, and you have to know your stuff, right? You can't just be some person that likes to go to the gym and then start training people. You need to know psychology a little bit. You have to know what makes people tick. You have to know the sports that they're training for. But it is a good way of making extra money if you are qualified. So you can make anything from maybe you charge someone $20 an hour and you do a one-on-one session with them, or you can do group classes. I've gotten paid over $100 an hour. I've gotten paid, I believe, about $150 for an hour's worth of work doing this job. Now, this is something that is harder to scale. You usually have to have some type of gym, but we work out of different facilities, so that way we don't have any overhead. So we might work with a school and go to the school to work out their athletes. So this is something that you can look at. There is some liability. You should talk with a lawyer, you should talk with an accountant, all that kind of stuff if you want to do this. But it is a good way of making 5 or 10 grand throughout the year, and it's just something that's pretty fun to do. The next way that you can make money is by bank account bonuses. So this is the thing that I said that I make, hundreds of dollars an hour at, that people just don't want to have to deal with. So there is a slight barrier of entry sometimes with these, but essentially, if you don't know what it is banks will give you money to start up an account and to go through a couple different tasks that they want you to do. So sometimes you have to set up a direct deposit. Sometimes you just have to deposit a certain amount of money for a certain period of time. There are literally hundreds of different bank account bonuses at any one time. I use this website called Doctor of Credit, and all you have to do is go over to bank accounts and the best bank account bonuses tab. So you can go through here. What I try to do is make sure that, first of all, it's just worth my time, right? So if there's some bank account bonus where you put in $1 and you make $30, it's probably not worth my time. I mean, maybe if you think $30 an hour, but that compared to something where maybe you get a $200 bonus, the $200 bonus is a lot more effective, and it helps you towards your financial goals a lot more. So I also look for something that has a low barrier of entry. So I'm not trying to put in $5,000 to get $100 worth of bonus. So that's something that I break down too. So if you get a $100 bonus on $5,000, you're only making about 2% return from you doing that. That I don't really think is worth it. However, if you get, let's say, a $200 bonus from $1,000 put in, that's a 20% return. And a lot of the time they don't take a full year. Sometimes they only take 2 months or 3 months. Sometimes they don't take any time at all. Sometimes it's just hitting a direct deposit. So that is something that I would definitely take a look into. You also have to read the fine print. So they might have some type of termination fee. They might have some amount of period that, or some time period that you have to wait before you can close down the account. I would definitely read through, first of all, on this website. There are other websites that do this too. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. But I'd look through this website, look at the individual offering, click the link, and then see what they say on their individual website. So like PNC Bank, I'd go to PNC's link in this little webpage here, and then make sure that's exactly what you think and what they say on Doctor of Credit, because they can be wrong too. So definitely read the fine print. Last year, I made about $2,600 in just about 5 months through bank account bonuses. And then this year, I did business bank account bonuses, which is the same thing, except for you have a business, you're setting up business bank accounts instead of personal accounts. And I made about $1,800. That has a little bit higher barrier of entry. A lot of the time they want more money in those accounts, but I made about $1,800 in about 3 months doing that. So if you and your significant other do this, you can definitely make $5,000 a year, and it's not too hard. You just have to read the fine print and pay attention every month. They come out with new bonuses. The next way to make money is to resell. So this is something that I did when I got home from school, when I got home from college, and I sold a bunch of my old items. Now, some people go to garage sales. Some people go out in lines early when there's some kind of shoe offering or like new shoe that is for sale. A lot of people go to old vintage electronic stores and resell on eBay and stuff like that. There are all different kinds of things that you can do, but this is a nice way if you're just looking for something that you can do whenever you want. If you want to, go through your basement or your attic, look through old stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's from the 70s, 80s, 90s that's worth a lot of money, and a lot of people don't realize it. Or you can go to a garage sale on a Saturday, see what kind of old vintage stuff you can buy there and sell. You can make hundreds of dollars every week, every couple weeks doing this. So it's definitely on your own time also, which is a nice thing. The next thing you can do is paint. So I actually did this for my parents' law firm. I got paid, I think, about $15 an hour. And it's a nice way of making some extra money. If you know any kind of local businesses or anyone that you know that's around you that needs a room repainted, this is not the steadiest line of work or anything like that, especially if you're just picking up stuff here and there. But if you go work 6 hours a week at $15 an hour, that's about $90 a week. That is a good way of making about $5,000 throughout the year. And you can just show up, put your earbuds in, listen to whatever you want, and it's a good time. So that is another way of making money. Now, my personal favorite way of making extra money is through YouTube. So obviously, you know that I have a YouTube channel. I've made videos on how much I make before over the last month. So just from YouTube ads, I've made over $5,000. Now, I'm not bragging or anything like that. Anyone can do this, and you just have to figure out the algorithm. You have to figure out what you're good at, what you can talk about, what you can be consistent with. And overall, I made more than double this amount last month. I made over $10,000. Actually, I made close to $11,000 for the second month in a row. I made over $10,000. So you can definitely make some good money on YouTube. And at first, this was just part time. I did not do this full time by any means until just a week ago. And since then, I haven't been able to get a good feeling for how much more I can make, but I made $10,000 in a month when I was working full time. So you can definitely make a lot of money on YouTube, even if it's not your full time job. It is a long road. It's not the easiest thing to do, but the potential is here, and it's so much more scalable than a lot of these other side hustles. So definitely consider doing one of these side hustles to help you reach financial independence. If you guys are interested in hitting financial independence, definitely let me know in the comments below. I do have some financial independence wear down there too. So like from my merch section down there, you can see that I have financial independence t-shirts and financial independence mugs and stuff like that. My girlfriend helped me with the design and she gets part of the profit. So if you want to support both of us, you can check out that link down below. It is a good way of reminding yourself to reach for financial independence. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much. Let me know how you make extra money on the side in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.